Part 4, Mycenaeans, the first Greek state. The term Mycenaean comes from Mycenae, a fortified site on the Greek mainland that was first discovered by the German archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann. Mycenae was one center in a Mycenaean Greek civilization that flourished between 1600 BC and 1100 BC. The Mycenaean Greeks were part of the Indo-European family of peoples who spread into Europe and Asia. One of these groups entered Greece around 1900 BC and gradually gained control of the Greek mainland. Mycenaean civilization, which reached its high point at 1400 BC and 1200 BC, was made up of powerful monarchies. Each resided in a fortified palace center. Like Mycenae, these centers were built on hills and surrounded by gigantic stone walls. The monarchies and these various centers of power probably formed a loose alliance of independent states. While the royal families lived within the walls of these complexes, the civilian populations lived scattered outside the walls. Among the noticeable features of these Mycenaean centers were the tombs where members of the royal families were buried. Known as tholos tombs, they were built into hillsides. An entryway led into a circular tomb chamber constructed of cut stone blocks in a domed shape that resembled a beehive. The Mycenaeans were above all a warrior people who prided themselves on their heroic deeds in battle. Mycenaean wall murals often show war and hunting scenes, the natural occupations of a warrior aristocracy. Archaeological evidence also indicates that the Mycenaean monarchies, remember monarchy is ruled by a king, developed an extensive commercial network. Mycenaean pottery has been found throughout the Mediterranean area, in Syria and Egypt to the east, and Sicily and southern Italy to the west. However, some historians believe that the Mycenaeans led the Mycenae itself, also spread outward militarily, conquering Crete and making it part of the Mycenaean world. Some of the Aegean islands also fell subject to Mycenaean control. The most famous of all their supposed military adventures is accounted in the poetry of Homer. According to Homer, Mycenaean Greeks led by Agamemnon, king of Mycenae, sacked, plundered the city of Troy on the northwestern coast of Asia Minor around 1250 BC. Did this event really occur? Ever since the excavations of Schliemann begun in 1870, scholars have debated this question. There's a discussion you can see later in chapter 1. Many believe that Homer's account of the attack on Troy does have a basis in fact. By the late 13th century BC, Mycenaean Greece was showing signs of serious trouble. Mycenaean states fought one another, and major earthquakes caused widespread damage. In the 12th century BC, new waves of Greek-speaking invaders moved into Greece from the north. By 1100 BC, Mycenaean civilization had collapsed.